Brian Palavai here on Far here with Jason Schlarb after his 4th place finish at the North Face Ultra Trail Mont-Blanc. Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you very much, Brian.
That was one hell of a run.
Yeah, it was an adventure, and the result certainly is great for me.
Does that feel really good? I mean, you had some great results last year, ran really well at Speed Goat, then you ran Run Rabbit Run, and you've kind of been quieter since then.
Yeah, you know, I've had kind of a little bit of an off year. You know, I went to Trans-Gran Canaria and had a DNF there. I was sick. Then came back to the Canary Islands and had a 13th place at Transvolcania, which is pretty good considering the field, but yeah, it wasn't like a home run for me. And then Skyrunning World Championships right here in Chamonix, laying in the snow trying to take a nap. So I had some races. There are some small ones in Switzerland in July that did go well, but they're pretty small races.
Yeah.
So my season focus all year has been to come here, train, and be ready for UTMB. A lot of pressure and stress, but it's excitement that ended up turning out all right, and had a good day, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, coming into the race, like the week of, like sometimes you can just feel you're always nervous, but there's races where you're like, I'm gonna nail this, or I'm gonna like have a really good week. Do you feel that way before the race?
I had great confidence in my fitness. I didn't have any nagging injuries. Last year at Run Rabbit Run, I didn't run for almost 2 weeks before the race because I had something that was bothering my hip or something. This race, I didn't have any injuries this summer. My fitness was good. I did exactly what I wanted to do for my training. The taper was there. It was just the only thing that made me nervous is you know, me actually getting there and actually doing it.
Yeah,
getting some good sleep that week of the race, which is always a real big issue for me.
And did you?
No, my sleep was pretty poor. I wake up 3, 4, 5 times a night, but you know, I got enough sleep and felt pretty good. I wasn't completely out of the day of the race, so it turned out all right.
Gun goes off, mob of people run off. What are you thinking at Les Houches? Like, where are you in the field, and like, what's going through your mind?
Of course, I'm 100% relieved to just be moving.
Yeah.
You know, coming from a university running kind of experience back in the day, I'm pretty comfortable running 6, 7 minute miles. So I'm okay with that. I'm not too worried that was going to kill me. So I didn't go out super conservative.
Okay.
But as soon as we hit that first hill at Les Houches, I really pulled the throttle back and slipped into, you know, maybe 20th place, something like that, 20, 25th place. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but back there where I needed to be at that point in the race. Feeling good, body was checking out all right.
Did you sticking around that position for any length of time?
Yeah, you know, there's some people that we passed that, you know, going out there that were definitely shouldn't be in the front that we passed. Yeah. But kind of just gradually those people went away, and I was somewhere in teens, somewhere around there for place, and just sticking to the plan, staying comfortable the whole race. That's really always this is my 3rd 100, but that is my mantra, comfortable.
So was there some point where you were starting to either pass big enough names, or you start feeling great, or is there some point where you're just like, oh, this is here today, I'm gonna go? Or
yeah, you know, I was running, I'll joke around with it, I was running the North Face cross country team. There's literally, we had Jez Bragg, we had the Spanish guy, this North Face guy.
Yeah.
We had Mike Foote and Tim Olsen. And then also, what's his name from Australia, the 7th?
Andrew Tuckey.
Yeah, Andrew Tuckey, and me. So it was this big pack of those North Face guys, and there was some fluctuation, but I knew then that I was in a good place. You know, because I've never run here. Again, this was my 3rd 100 miler. Never run something with this much vert, so you know, it's a little scary to know where's the right place.
It's interesting because that's a group of people that have had great success. Jez has won it. Obviously, Mike Foote's had a 3rd and a 5th here. Timothy was 4th last year, and they've all run sort of smart, measured races. So.
Yeah, Timmy looked over at me and said, "Great start, great start." And I think it was kind of a little mutual, but it was basically we're where we're supposed to be, and I had that confidence right there. Unfortunately, right after that, about somewhere around 30 or 40K, I dropped off and had my one kind of terrible dark hour or two where those guys left, and of course the contemplation. Oh, I'm not going to do it. Oh, should I drop? That was there. Had to do it for me. For some reason, 100 miles. It's usually the first half I get that terrible place. Then I caught up with those guys, and from there it was feeling better.
How did you work through that dark place?
It just one foot in front of the other. The brain can tell you some stuff, and you can feel really terrible. But if you just try to say in the back of your mind, okay, just got to keep moving, just keep moving. No matter how slow it feels, how bad, impossible to think, okay, I've got 18 more hours or 15 more hours, 120. Don't let, just, okay, step. That's what I did, at least.
So you come into Courmayeur around just slightly before halfway. You're probably in the start of the teens, I don't know, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Where do you assess your race there?
It's a good feeling. I'm thinking, my big goal was to be in the top 10. Before I knew who all was entered, it was top 5. But top 10 was the goal, and I was a bit out of that, and I was like, well, I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to complete this course. Things are going to be good. So I was in a good mental place. Maggie was out there, my wife, and Felix crewing me. I always got a hug and a kiss. So it was a really mentally healthy place there at Courmayeur and a lot of the aid stations. But shortly after Courmayeur, again, the North Face Spanish guy, I saw him on the side of the road, I think, just sitting there talking on his cell phone. I was like, oh, well, there's another person. And then right out of the climb, there's 2 people I passed on that climb. So shortly after Courmayeur, I was like...
So the first climb, the Breton climb, the really steep, not short, but focused climb.
Yeah, up to the Refugio, switchback, super steep, just like the entrance into Courmayeur, super steep. Sorry. At that point, I was like, oh, wow, top 10's real. I can do this.
And then coming off the Coffret, you must have moved in another gear, because when I saw you, maybe you were in 6th and right behind a couple more guys. Yeah,
right before that
Tony
Cole,
and somebody else.
Yeah, after the Cole, but before the Cole, I ran into Mike Foote, and I was like, oh wow, okay, we're gonna be able to work together. But he told me his knee was hurting and that he was gonna try to run with me, and he dropped off from there. But after that pass and the beautiful sun, the not sunrise, but the glow of the morning, it's magnificent. At that point, I knew I was by myself. Like I kind of like to be in hundreds. Yeah. And I can just work. And from there, just went down, saw you, got some good news.
Yeah, I told you, I think you were, just a couple minutes off. Tony, and I'm totally blanking on who else was, somebody else was right. Oh, it was the Lithuanian man.
Yes. Yeah, the Lithuania guy. Your excitement at that aid station is like, oh my gosh, right there. He was 3 minutes out. That was a big turning point too. Past 2 more people, just kept the wheels going, and
I mean, just like I don't even know if you stopped in that aid station. There's like sort of a circuitous little shoot, and you just bounce on through.
I almost don't do anything at aid stations. This isn't a plug for my nutrition Vitargo, but I literally stick to my powder sugar. I have some oranges. I had broth of soup twice. That's about it. So I luckily, my body, my nutrition works out in a way that I don't even pay attention to the aid stations, except for picking up some more stuff if it's a crew aid station. So
So you're not spending time there. You're just in and out.
No,
you weren't in Courmayeur very long. You didn't stop and you filled your bottle at most.
Yeah, I don't think I ever stopped longer than 2 minutes at any aid station.
That adds up to a lot of time.
Yeah.
or adds up to not very much time.
Yeah, I want to get home.
Oh man. And then probably shortly thereafter, I'm guessing, you tell me, when did you move into 4th position? Did you hear about Luis Alberto that he was out at?
Yeah, that was confusing. So I didn't know if people were misinformed or something happened up front. I always, and sometimes I almost plug an extra person in there because I don't trust people for position. I don't want to get too excited. So I was always like, oh, fifth. But when I heard 4th a whole bunch of times, then I knew something probably happened up there. I had heard third place was looking terrible, was looking horrible, so on and so forth, and people kept telling me that. But I think he must have turned it around, because I wasn't crawling on those last 2 climbs and descents, and I didn't catch too much on it. He must have come back a bit.
Toefl had some stomach, Toefl Cassini in the air, had some stomach problems, but they resolved and he was able to keep rolling.
Yeah.
So is it at some point, in the late miles, you always have a split, or you can find out how far you are back. Is there some point 20K out where you're like, I'm 45 minutes down, going to not self-preservation mode, but just dial it in and go?
Mr. Lithuania was knocking on the door
that's right.
the whole time, making my life miserable. Miserable. I could see him, I could hear him sometimes. He was always 4 minutes, all the way till the Fletcher.
Yeah.
And he hurt his knee. Something happened with his knee, and he finally stopped pushing. But I didn't know.
But so you're.
I never do this, but I have in my bag. I have 2 emergency caffeine powders, and they are for that situation of, oh my gosh, I'm not going to lose a place in the last 10K in a 105-mile race. So I popped that in the water, took some Coke. Again, I don't usually take Coke, and I started like yelling at myself, shouting, just hauling down the hill, because I just didn't want to lose that 4th place.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't get it really relaxed. And
sorry.
Race. It was. Yeah, I wish I would have known.
So even though you couldn't go forward, you knew you weren't going to catch necessarily.
I wanted 4th, not 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming through Chamonix.
Yeah.
To the finish, what does that feel like?
Oh my gosh, there's Boston. I think the common roadrunner or American would, if you watch Boston and see the crowd there, it's obviously not that much volume, but for the ultra, it is so amazing. Out on the course too, there's tons of people taking pictures through the villages, all kinds of fun. But to finish that kind of race, that kind of atmosphere, and then have that kind of support. There's people still lined up on the course now 24 hours later after I finished. It's a special thing, special feel, special race. It was, and I enjoyed it. I was doing the high fives all the way.
Oh yeah, you were. That's right.
Oh yeah, it's good. It was wonderful.
Soaking it up.
Yeah. This is a special experience.
And then coming across the line, and your wife and child are there.
Yeah, of course. To have them, hold them, thank them. It was a magic end of a movie moment. It was great.
So, last year you won the Run Rabbit Run 100, and you're 4th here. Like, how do you compare those, or how do you put those together?
Run Rabbit Run was I didn't feel bad or have to push really hard. I'm not trying to be cocky.
No, you said that. Yeah.
But literally, that was a great, fun, special magic moment.
Yeah.
UTMB, I had to work. I had some moments of despair. I had a lot of pain. I ran scared. It was different. So it's nice to finally have. I've been here 3 months preparing for this. It's been my season year focus. I've never had that before.
Yeah.
To finish and have a good result and be in that top 5 was huge. So it felt as wonderful, but it was a different experience completely.
Totally. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that the end of your season, more or less? Or
I might go out to Diagon de Fou, Reunion Island, but it's not good to think about that right now.
No.
Going out to Hawaii to do a project, run across with Julian Chourier.
Little jewel boat thing.
Yeah. 150 miles across the island. It'll be fun.
That will be a fun project.
That's at the end of November. And then we'll go back to the Southern Hemisphere to do a video in, I think, January or February.
Where at?
I don't know, Peru, maybe Martinique.
Sounds like
I'm not sure. We got to pick.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your run here. And
thanks, Brian.
Good luck if you do go to Diagon de Fou.
Yeah, thanks for your coverage, man.
Oh, yeah. So you've been here 3 months in Europe, mostly in the Alps. You've had probably some time to try some different beers. What's the best you've had here in Europe?
Hands down, Leffe, as we call it, or Lef, as the French call it, is the Belgian people make the best beer.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. It's smooth. They, all 4 or 5 different varieties that they have here. It's fantastic, hands down.
Any particular style that you like the most out of the lefts?
I like the Royale.
All right.
I like the Royale a lot. That's my favorite. It's got flavor, but it's not too overpowering.
Well, that was some good fortune, and that's what I had in my backpack
Exactly.
at the finish line.
It was my favorite kind of beer, favorite flavor. Oh man, yeah, that was a nice treat. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
Sure.
That was fun. Well,
Yeah.
go enjoy some more.
All right, will do.